Slow the Roll, Life's Dashboard, and White Villages. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast of The Ordinary Maverick. This is Ajay, your host, an ordinary maverick, sharing real life thoughts and experiences and maverick tips. Quick, be fast, get going, hurry, let's go, rush, or you'll miss the bus. I'm sure we have all heard these terms many times over in our lives. Everything has to be done now. There's no time to waste, etc. But have you heard about the phrase, slow your roll? It's actually a slang expression that roughly means to calm down and relax. It's to instruct someone to reduce the pace or enthusiasm for which they are doing something. It's to calm oneself down. Slow rolling is also a poker jargon. It's when the winning player deliberately turns their two cards over slowly as a way of making the losing player feel even worse. Now that's not so nice, right? In fact, a slow roll in poker is perhaps a huge breach of poker manners and etiquette possible. Generally, the phrase is commonly used to stop a certain behavior, such as drinking too much or too quickly, getting too loud in a public place, or spending too much money. It's kind of linked with the phrase on a roll. Like if one says, someone is on a roll, it means they are having a great success, which seems likely to continue. Experiencing good luck. Don't we wish we all were on a roll? But there's merit in the phrase slow your roll when interpreted a bit differently, like just slowing down. Often it's an event in your life, some trigger that compels us to take a hard look at our ever crazy, ever fast life and recalibrate to slowing down. But why should it take an event for us to do this? Fellow Mavericks, nothing stops us from taking a step back, or rather I should say, just a pause and take it slow. COVID-19 pandemic did that for many of us. Yes, it's once again an event that pushed us to a whole new way of living and thinking. For many, it meant a forced time from work, cancelled events, holidays, etc. What seemed inconceivable at one point, we were all so tied to our calendars and schedules that we just couldn't think about slowing down or taking a break. And then, just like that, it was taken out of our hands. We had absolutely no say in the matter. And like it or not, we just had to slow down. Of course, it was different for those that were involved in the pandemic response, like my wife, who was involved in one. From one country to another, completely swamped and smashed. For her, them, it was work, and more work 24/7, right? But still, it was work that was just for the pandemic. Nothing else mattered, and everything else paled in comparison. But for the majority of the world, life strangely slowed down. Well, in today's podcast, I would like to discuss slowing down consciously. Not when you're forced to, not when there's a lockdown imposed on you. No, this is when you, out of your own free will, slow things down. And what better time to discuss this than in the beginning of a new year? But it's something to think about and plan your slow times for the year. Now, I'm not meaning taking vacations and holidays. Of course, that's critical and we need to block those definitely. I'm referring to something a bit different. It's building in slow times in your calendar. And yes, this can also be done during holidays. Now, what do I mean by that? It's something like servicing your car. Just imagine if you were to run your car 24/7 with your foot on the pedal, accelerating, what do you think will happen? Well, the engine will give up. It will overheat and fail. Stop. That's it. You can't get anywhere. But going slow, making sure your car is regularly serviced, that's when your car will run fine and you will reach your destination. It's the same with our minds. Rest is needed to absorb new stuff, new information, process it, and assess everything. That's when good decisions are made. That's when mental clarity sets in and one is able to absorb all the information, process it, and assess all aspects. And it's linked with physical health, happiness, and stress relief. Conscious slowing down has been linked with better decision making, connecting deeper with people, and having more meaningful experiences. And all of this contributes to overall well being and happiness. The trick is to schedule one. Yes, even slow times need to be scheduled. Intentional slow is what I mean. We started doing this in our family, blocking out time where we just go slow. We have spent days together where intentionally it's a slow day. Reminds me of our time in a whitewashed Moorish village in the south of Spain few years back. Our girls were still small and we set out on a first family backpacking slow down holiday. We didn't quite realize it then, but reflecting back, it was the best thing we did, and it set the tone for many of our holidays going forward. It was Christmas and New Year time, a time where everyone is actually going super fast. Lots of parties, get togethers, eating out, etc. etc. Now, I'm not saying this is not important or good, and definitely the holidays are a time for catch ups. But try and spend one such holiday intentionally slow and with just a few people, your immediate family, a close group of friends, and you'll experience what I'm saying for yourself. So, we spent one Christmas and New Year's in this small whitewashed Moorish village in the south of Spain, renting out a cottage. Truly, the village was something out of a travel postcard. Completely whitewashed, all houses painted white, with beautiful old Moorish architecture, lovely curving small streets and pathways, lovingly decorated homes, and beautiful gardens tended with lots of love and care. It was a village that still remains in our hearts and soul even after more than a decade. And time stood still. Our days were spent exploring the village, walking through the streets, greeting the village folks, who were really friendly by the way, buying the local veggies and fruits from the village market, taking siestas, yes, afternoon naps, just like the village, which literally went to sleep, super quiet during the siesta hours. And then sitting at the town square, drinking coffee in the small cafes, listening to someone playing the guitar and singing Spanish songs. And on the New Year's Eve, we went to the square and brought in the new year with the village folks, connecting with people we didn't quite know, but just taking in the moment of new beginnings and shared the joy that comes when you celebrate a happy event together. It was just simply beautiful. We spent a week in that village and loved every moment of it. All four of us reminisce about that holiday where time just stood still in that pretty Moorish village. After that experience, we have scheduled many such quiet holidays over the years. Another memorable one was the time when we spent time in a crater. Yes, a crater. Well, more on that one in another podcast. I spoke about servicing your car earlier. And how do we know when to schedule it? Well, we take notes and schedule the next service as well as keep a lookout on the dashboard. The car's dashboard tells us many things. When to fill gas, when we are going too fast, and also when the oil levels are low, etc. etc. Similar to that, build your life's dashboard. Instead of a speedometer that's on a car's dashboard, have a measure of your life's speed and build in the slow times. And pay attention to the warning signs too, like inability to sleep, to unwind, feeling anxious and rushed all the time. Schedule regular servicing not just for your car, but also for your mind and body. One effective way is the slow time. Of course, there are other things too, like proper rest, sleep, exercise, and good nutrition. But I do believe the trigger for all of this is the slow time. The conscious slowing down that then helps us figure out the rest. And if you are able to do this as a family, then that just makes it all the more beautiful, helps connections get stronger and deeper. And of course, having those meaningful relationships contribute to our overall happiness, sense of purpose, and well-being. We did that as a family when we did a holiday in Mauritius a few years back. Planned out the holiday in advance and decided which of the days were slow days, meaning no schedule. Everyone just doing what they want. It was just chilled out. Although there were lots of things to see and places to visit in Mauritius, we just penciled in no agenda days, and intentionally went slow. Again, it was one of our best holidays and time spent together. So, fellow Mavericks, you know the component one of the Maverick formula, which is go with your gut. And to do that, one needs to practice mindfulness because that's when your gut feeling is right. You are relaxed and at your very best, and so is your gut. And of course, once your gut speaks to you, then that's it. Be true and fall forward. Following through on the other components of the formula. Here's a tip. We are slowing to go fast. Let me say this again. Slowing to go fast. Think about it. Because once your car is serviced and all is in order, you can rev it up and race. So get your life's dashboard in order. Keep the different dials of well-being in order. And remember, regular servicing, aka slowing down, is a key step towards an all-green dashboard. Do keep writing your comments and sharing your feedback at theordinarymaverick@gmail.com and follow me on Instagram, #TheOrdinaryMaverick. I love hearing from you.
Credits. This podcast series was put together as a team effort from the Bhardwaj family. Concept, design, title, researchers and reviewers Sanjana, Ajay, Avantika and Niharika Bhardwaj. Script, Sanjana. Cover design, Niharika. All rights reserved.